What's up guys? I'm back with this heavily anticipated video covering the two EVT iPod classics, which have since become a bit notorious for how they came into my possession. So both of these came from a lot that I won on eBay as an auction from Goodwill of Silicon Valley. That was last week. Now they're on my desk. I've only had them for 2 or 3 days, but it feels like forever. I haven't really taken a close look at them to save my reactions for this video. Very excited to get into them. Now this episode, we're only gonna take a look at one, and it's gonna be this example right here. This one is honestly a little cooler. That's gonna be next episode. So stay tuned, smash like, hit the bell, subscribe. Hype this, man, hype it. High five. Sweet. So as you might be able to tell, this thing is gosh darn near mint. And in the interest of preservation, I'm gonna put some gloves on. I am really not exaggerating when I say this thing is near mint. There is a tiny little ding right here in the corner, and same with up there, but otherwise it looks like it's been used for maybe a couple hours. Cosmetically, it seems like just a normal iPod, except for this EVT label down here and obviously the stickers. Usually with these prototypes, the first thing to go is the stickers on the back here, be it the ink fading or peeling up. I've seen some in pretty poor shape. We do have our serial number right here. And of course, this device has not been authorized as required by the rules of the Federal Communications Commission, FCC. This device is not and may not be offered for sale or lease or sold or leased until authorization is obtained. We've got our N25B. So N25 is the code name for this model iPod. So it's gonna be the iPod Classic, late 2008, the 120 gigabyte. The first one that supports inline controls and Genius. This B, I presume, is because there's an A model and a B model. The A model being possibly the 160 gigabyte iPod Classic 7, and the B model being the 120. That's speculation on my part, I'm not entirely sure. So the EVT here and here stands for Engineering Validation Testing, which is a stage of prototyping. As far as this A1 goes, I'm not entirely sure. If anyone knows, please let me know in the comments. And we have our date here, June 13th, 2008. This model would go on to be announced in September 2008, and I believe hit store shelves about a week later. So I've got an Ars Technica article pulled up from July 2007 about how Compaq, which is right here listed as the PCB manufacturer, having won a contract with Apple to manufacture the logic boards for these iPods, and I think the rumor was correct. The SDRAM chipset's gonna be from Samsung. I'll have to do a little bit of research to figure out exactly what company this display and battery were manufactured by. Hard drive, it looks like it's gonna be a Toshiba 120 gig, either the MK1231 or 1234. The audio flex cable looks like Fujitsu, and the wheel NSK. Normally they're Foxconn, and it looks like the JTAG has been removed. This either could be in reference to the JTAG not being present or the JTAG not having been removed. It's kind of unclear, but this guy's a dead battery. I've got a Firewire 400 power adapter right here, and we're gonna let it boot, see what's on here. So broadly speaking, this is somewhere between an iPod Classic 6 and an iPod Classic 7. We're gonna find out if it has inline controls. So it looks like we do have some music on here already. This appears to be the standard operating system. It looks like we've got 1.3 gigs used and 110 free, which is about exactly what you'd expect from a 120 gig. That's our serial number. Model number is MB562LL, which is a North American 120 gigabyte 2008 iPod Classic 7 in silver. Totally normal. However, the software version is 1.1.2, which I'm sure many of you are familiar. That is the firmware for an iPod Classic 6. The iPod Classic 7, even the 120 shipped with 2.0 and was later updated to 2.0.1. It appears to be the standard production 1.1.2 firmware, but let's take a look at what's on this iPod. Cole, you want to tell me if you know this song?
No, don't know that one. Oh, that's just a link.
It almost looks like it's corrupted.
This does look corrupted. Yeah, it's all special.
It looks super corrupted. Everyone welcome Cole to the channel.
Hi.
He's new around here.
Yeah, and I'm also just a baby.
We're gonna listen to some of these tracks. Do we at least have any unknown album? Oh, of course. My favorites. Okay, then we have some Chinese. This is
good, too.
yeah, I like the bass line. No way that's it.
That can't be
That
it.
can't be
Love
it.
Online by God. I don't know. It's only got 2,000 streams.
No, that's not it.
Not even close.
That's not even close, dude. Let's try this next track. I like this one.
That one's like cha-cha.
I like this one. This is great. What do you think? Will inline controls be supported?
Let's find out.
No. So I suspect it's got an actual 6-gen board inside. All right, next thing is diagnostic mode, and then we're gonna crack this sucker open. All right, and we are in. We're on diagnostic firmware 1.0 logic board MB562. That's our serial number, that's our logic board model number. As far as the rest of this information, I genuinely don't know, so please let me know in the comments if you can label this one, this one, this one, this one, and these two. I truly don't know, and I suspect that knowledge might have been lost to time. So let's check on the hard drive health real quick here. All right, you want to take a guess how many power on hours this hard drive has? I'm not looking. I'm going to say 12. 6. Wow, that's awesome. Everyone's going to be so pissed if I f up this iPod, dude.
The pressure's on.
It'll be okay. I've done this 1,000 times. Let's do it. This thing sure is tough, huh? Very clearly never been opened before, but yeah, there we go. There she is. All right, first time seeing the light of day in 16 years. Let's see, what do we got inside? Oh, that is so cool. Okay, first thing I see, we have an EVT label on the battery, which is a little puffy. And then curiously, some text underneath the printing, which appears to have been like wiped off. Oh, dude, yes. That is so cool. Give me some, it's blue. Sweet. That is beautiful.
What is the plastic in it?
Yeah.
Oh, the board is blue.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Taking a look at the hard drive here at the bottom, do you see 120? I believe this is a pretty standard hard drive. We should have a date code right about here underneath the foam, but in the interest of preservation, I'm gonna try not to disturb this as much as possible. Hey, can someone run me up a iPod Classic 7120 silver and a 680 silver, please?
Hello. Package as well.
Oh, really? On a Sunday?
On a Sunday night.
Okay. On the right here, we have a production iPod 680 gig. And then here's our EVT iPod somewhere between 6 and 7. And we're just gonna look really carefully for some differences aside from the obvious. Yeah, so it appears that we actually do still have our JTAG hardware on the EVT. The JTAG being
The Joint Test Action Group, an industry standard for verifying designs of and testing printed circuit boards after manufacture.
Yeah. So on this production board, you can see the JTAG sector here is void of any components, but on the prototype here, we do have all of our JTAG components. So if we had a special cable, we could communicate with this using some proprietary software that's likely lost to time. Yep, all right, so the date code would be right here, but it does not appear to be present on the Proto 120 drives. And let's go ahead and disassemble this thing a little bit further. I do notice that the LCD appears to be the Classic 6 model, and this could be a date code, I don't know, might be, might not be. So we do have our sticker here. Again, if anyone knows how to decipher this information, I understand that the QR code looking thing is actually an asset tag. However, I'm not sure what this C08612 and P01149 are in reference to. The logic board model number is underneath the top of the mid frame here, and I gotta know, and I gotta see the rest of the components, so we are gonna disassemble this thing. My apologies in advance if this is somehow blasphemous, but you're watching it, so you're part of the problem if that's true.
You're an accomplice.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the screws here are normal production screws. Okay. Out she comes. All right, so taking a look at the faceplate, it appears to be a really normal silver faceplate, as far as I can tell. Oh, hey, would you look at that? We have a fingerprint. A couple fingerprints, actually, underneath the LCD shield. Can you pull up the FBI database?
Facial recognition got a hit. Jesus Christ.
Good morning.
Yeah, we have our blue design. Wow, that is so pretty. Wow, that click wheel is flawless too. That's awesome. There's actually quite a few differences here. Immediately I noticed that this sector is different, and that is where the JTAG hardware sits, but curiously there's a spot for a larger IC that is not filled in on the production board, where the design is completely different on this prototype. So as you guys can see, we have our logic board model number right here, which is incredibly cool. 820-2437-01. Next to my Proto EVT Classic 7, you can see the similarities immediately with the blue board. We did feature this iPod in a previous episode. Video is right here. Here's the title. Here's my favorite part. Here's how many days it's been since we filmed that video. Here's what I ate for dinner that day.
Elite Obsolete Electronics says, making chili. Happy New Year's to Steve and the crew. Making chili. Does look good. No, I got a whole tuxedo on. I got the whole thing on.
This thing only charges with USB. It's kind of weird, as might be expected of a prototype. I think this confirms that this iPod is a 7th gen, at least if we're going off the logic board model number. And guys, let me just say, this is supposed to be the less cool of the two. I am very excited for the second one. Instead of a transparent housing, as much as I want to, we're gonna put this thing back together as it was originally. In order to preserve it, we gotta remove this battery. Beautiful. Yeah, totally blank on the underside, which is not super typical, but I will be keeping this one just because it says EVT on it. I've got this 800 milliamp hour lithium ion polymer replacement battery, recently manufactured, so should keep this thing kicking. Bend our clips back. And you, and you, and you, and you. Give it a nice squeeze. Perfect. All right, here we go. There it is. So now that we've got the iPod powered on and booted with this glorious artwork, I thought we should at least plug it into a computer and see if there's any files on the disk itself and just see what iTunes thinks about it. I've got a PowerBook G4 here on OS 10.4 Tiger, not connected to the internet, very importantly. And so very curiously, it looks like iTunes is detecting this as if it had never been synced with iTunes, which is really curious because it does have music on it. It was named. So I'm gonna avoid hitting connect or setting up this iPod, registering it, what have you. If we look at disk utility here, It does show the disk as having number of folders 71, number of files 97, with 1.3 gigs used. However, in Finder here, at least on Tiger, all I really see here is the music. I don't see any folders from someone using this as a USB drive. And you betcha I'm stealing this music. If you have any information about this iPod, the history of it, the production of it, or if you have a similar example, let me know in the comments below. See you guys next time with this super epic second EVT iPod. This one is actually somewhere in between an iPod Video and an iPod Classic. It's got this really unique software on it. I'm gonna be taking a look at this right afterwards, but for you guys, it might be a couple weeks. So stay tuned, hit that bell, smash like, hit the hype button too. Send this video to Tim Cook and ask him to resign.